Hey everyone, it's Nate from Rift Academy here. So I've been seeing a lot of people debating and suggesting the new runes reforged. So I'm going to offer my opinion on what's ideal for AD carries in different situations and scenarios. Keep in mind this is for patch 7.22 and changes are to be expected in the future as the meta unfolds and both nerfs and buffs are applied to champions and runes alike. So diving straight into it, I feel as though most AD carries will make use of their precision tree. However, with a few exceptions, being such as jungle Ezreal would take domination, Jhin might also be going into domination, even though he synergizes well with the precision tree. I'll talk into that later on. Lane Ezreal will actually be going into inspiration, and I think it is perhaps the strongest rune champion there is right now. So the reason why this powder is exceptionally well with Ezreal is because of this rune right here. After using an ability, your next attack when champion grants bonus gold. There's a chance you'll also gain a consumable. So this has no cooldown applied to it, so you can constantly be spamming Q and auto attack in lane, and you could be gaining gold and consumables really fast. This allows you to hit your power spikes really early. You don't want to leave the game drag out to the late game where champions that has, for instance, lethal tempo will outmatch you. Okay, so moving on from Kleptomancy, you are left with a choice of these three runes. I feel as though the first one is extremely useless since you have your E. You are left with the choice between a Biscuit Delivery or Perfect Timing. I feel like Perfect Timing is a really strong rune. Start the game with a convincing stopwatch that transforms into a stopwatch after 6 minutes. Stopwatch has a one-time stasis effect, reduces the cooldown of Zhonya's Guardian's Angels or Geiger Stoneblade. Obviously, you would only want to go for Guardian's Angel, but nonetheless, Biscuit Delivery is a bit useless with Kleptomancy because you are going to be gaining consumables anyways. However, there is a chance for it to work together because it has consuming any biscuit increases your mana cap by 40 mana permanently, which synergizes really well with tier that Ezreal wants to go for. So I feel as though Perfect Timing is the right choice. However, do not sleep on Biscuit Delivery. You might also want to try it out. Now, these three choices here, and this is extremely interesting because for other AD carries, you want to be going magical footwear. However, with Ezreal, you are going to be going for gold. You're going to be getting lots of gold, so it might not be the biggest problem in the world to forego this rune. You don't want to go features market. You don't want to go that much. You're going to be getting gold anyway, so you don't have to be borrowing gold. Minion Dematerializer. This rune is extremely well on Ezreal because, as I said before, you want to have a mid-game power spike. You want to you want to get the turrets down, you want to be rotating mid, you want to be rotating top, you want to be getting your objectives, and this extremely allows you to do that. Not only does it completely absorb the lane, you also gain extra minion damage 4%, and it scales by at least 5 or 6% depending if you use it on a cannon wave or not, as well as it can be used 6 times. So this really helps if you coordinate a gank, for instance, bot lane with the jungler with the sole intention of getting bot lane turret. You could instantly clear the wave, you could push in completely, you can place down the ward, you can have top lane TP. It's extremely good for getting first tower, it's extremely good for rotating mid, it's extremely good for using it on top lane to entirely push the lane and have free herald or other objectives opens up in the map. So this rune is extremely valuable. Lastly, for the last three choices, it's pretty obvious that you want to go for Cosmic Insight. Max CDR and the 5% CDR is extremely well. As I said, Kleptomancy, so you want to be dishing out a lot of Qs, you want to be getting gold. You don't have any impaired abilities in your kit, so you don't want to be going this. And you certainly don't want to have 10% less damage to both minions and champions. For the second tab, this leaves it a bit open. You can go for, obviously, their precision tree, which AD carriers will be taking. You want to go for Coup or Cutdown, depending if you're versus tanks, you want to go Cutdown, or if not, you want to go for this one. For the sake of this video, we're going to go with this. You are left with another choice here. Extra attack speed on Ezreal is fine. It is not, however, my suggested choice. I really like BloodLine, extra lifesteal. I think it synergizes really well with Mana Mugen, Late Rune King, and Triforce, and Ezreal's inner ability to gain attack speed as he auto attacks. Now, apart from this choice, you could also go for the domination line. Sudden impact is pretty good on Ezreal. As I said, you're gonna be hitting power spikes early. So after exiting stealth or using a dash, leap, blink, or teleport, dealing any damage to a champion grants you 10 lethality and 8 magic penetration for 5 seconds. Again, I mean, Ezreal's E, it allows you to do more damage on your Q, W even, because of the magic penetration. Your R, your auto attacks, you're gonna have items before your opponent, so this is extremely good. Lastly, I would take perhaps something like Ravenous Hunter, heal for percentage of the damage dealt by your abilities. Again, you're going to be using a bunch of Qs, so you're going to be extremely strong. I would personally suggest taking this. However, Ghost Borrow is pretty good as well. Eyeball Collection is pretty good. So perhaps the second tree is a bit of a preference. This is more for a fully snowball build. You have to, snowball with this. But again, feel free to try out going into the other AD carries right here. You're instantly greeted with 3 choices. There's the attack, lethal tempo, and fleet footwork. I feel as though fleet footwork is extremely subpar when compared to lethal tempo, and especially press the attack. Now, lethal tempo is extremely interesting rune. Everybody seems to be hyping it up, and how on-hit attack champions are, gonna make a massive comeback. How didn't Riot learn from the previous Kog'Maw? But I feel as though this is extremely different from the previous Kog'Maw for various reasons. First of all, it has a 10-second cooldown. This is rather huge. That means you probably wouldn't be able to gain the buff twice during a team fight. It has a wind up time, so it takes 1.5 seconds for you to really start in that attack speed from the rune, and it scales with level. And there's something interesting, for instance, that it is for 3 seconds, but attacking a champion extends the effect to 6 seconds. Now, most of the time you would say it's not a problem for you to attack, a champion. However, keep in mind that if you get stunned and perhaps, Bard ulted, you are not able to attack a champion at all, and then you are left with practically no rune at all, because you would have to wait another 10 seconds and then another 1.5 seconds to actually start gaining the attack speed. So I think lethal tempo has a really nice counterplay added to it. The only AD carries I could potentially see make use of it is obviously, Kog'Maw and Varus with on-hit. So that would be Rageblade, Runelance, Bork with Sand. You might want to Tab Eyes. Even Caitlyn could make nice use of lethal tempo because she has long range, so she can stay back and avoid being stunned. She could easily hit champions from a distance, so she could extend it to 6 seconds. She doesn't exactly need the attack speed buff, so even after it runs out, she's still pretty healthy, she's still pretty useful. She has her traps, she has her net. Also proc more headshots with it, obviously. So I think lethal tempo has a place for it, but it's not as good as press the attack. I think press the attack is the ultimate rune for AD carries. Hitting an enemy champion with 3 consecutive basic attack deals 32 1-0 bonus adaptive damage and makes them vulnerable. Now this is the part that makes this rune extremely good. It increases damages that they take by 12% from all sources for 6 seconds, and it initially has no cooldown inserted into it. So they would take extra damage for 6 seconds. You would have to auto attack twice, which is not quite of a big deal for an AD carry, especially if you have both static shift and rapid fire. It might take you a second and a half to get 3 seconds back in, and again you're back to dealing extra damage, and you fell out for 12% from all sources. I also think it's extremely good in lane as well, as compared to lethal tempo, because lethal tempo in lane, if you have a bunch of attack speed but you don't have any impulse AD or on hit, it's pretty subpar. but this is just flat out bonus damage, right, from both you and anyone who damages. So it can be the support or the jungler or a mid top row. So I happily think, you know, press the attack is really, really good. Now we are left with these three choices of runes. I feel as though this rune is pretty lackluster. I think in itself it's alright. For 5 seconds gaining a level or a takedown, any mana you spend is fully restored. I mean, that's nice. But when you have the choice, for instance, of overheal over here, the choice is pretty obvious. Now for Triumph, it is takedowns restores 15% of your missing health and grants an additional 25 gold. I think the rune is fine, but it is a bit lackluster. Keep in mind that it's 15% of your missing health, so if it was maximum health, it would be really good. That would be probably the standard to take, but the fact that it's missing health, it means that it can be very, very little heal. Grant an additional 25 gold. I think the 25 gold is really gonna make much of a difference at all. I feel as though this rune might be better if it was perhaps tweaked a bit, perhaps increase in your missing health, restore 25-30%, make it scale with level, something more. But for now I feel as though overheal is the obvious choice. Now for these three runes, I've seen a lot of people instantly going for Alacrity. You know, I think Legend Alacrity, it's alright. You gain 3% attack speed plus an additional 1.5 for every legend stacks. It is great, it is attack speed. However, keep in mind that you're already gaining attack speed. What people don't notice is that we are used to having lifesteal in the masteries themselves, even just in Warlords or Vampirism. So we are used to going to crit items and having the lifesteal there for us, right? So with this rune, if you're going to go for Alacrity, you basically have to buy a third item, lifesteal, or you're going to have to deal with having no lifesteal. In my opinion, BloodLine is the superior rune here to take. It is 8% lifesteal for free, which allows you to go for rapid fire, static shiv, or rudeness, you know, two of those items. So you may go for the crit build still and have both in lifesteal thanks to this rune. So I would definitely go for BloodLine. Again, as we talked before, Cutdown or Coup. I feel as though Cutdown is for tanks. You know, you don't want to be choosing it if the enemy has no tanks. Coup is a nice rune. You deal 10% more damage to champions who have less than 40% health, but also takedowns on champions grant an adaptive bonus of 9 damage or 15 ability power for 10 seconds. So if you have a champion that has resets, such as Jinx for instance, this is extremely good. You can instantly be gaining, you know, your attack speed, your move speed, and attack damage. That's great. Champions like Twitch, for instance, you can burst people instantly with them. You can be gaining additional attack damage for your ult. So again, I think this is extremely good. Last stat, my opinion on it doesn't change much. I feel as though an AD carry, you don't want to be playing around the fact that you got low health. If you have low health, you want to go try to stay in the back line, lifesteal back up, try to hide behind your tank, your support. So you don't want to be going in just because you have low health, for instance. So just for the sake, we're going to go with Coup, but Cutdown is extremely good versus tanks, especially on someone like Vayne. So finally, the second part of the tree, in my opinion, gives you a lot of different options that you want to go with. For instance, if you're in a hard lane, you can go for the biscuit delivery. So you're versus someone such as Caitlyn. You want to go Doran's Blade combined with the biscuit delivery, and you have an in-both sustain basically versus Caitlyn. It's extremely good, you know, gain a total biscuit of everlasting will every 3 seconds until 12 minutes. So more or less for quite the huge duration of the laning phase. It restores 15% of your missing health. That's really good. And mana. You also want to go for the magical footwear. Now, AD carries, you want to be getting items, right? And I see so many people in bronze, silver, and gold not build boots. I see people, you know, they have IE, and they have a zeal item, and they have no boots. And once you get to fight them, you can actually see them trying to run slowly behind you. So I feel as though this will specifically help those people, but it also allows you to focus more on buying a BF sword, for instance. It allows you to reach your power spikes in lane faster, and it also makes the boots upgrade even cheaper and gives you additional move speed. So I think magical footwear is extremely valuable on AD carry and wouldn't really swap it for another room. The only really choice I could see you swapping the magical footwear is if you want to go for the medium dematerializer. If you want to be pushing in bot lane, if you want to be winning hard, if you're versus someone that they needs to farm, for instance someone like Kog'Maw where they need to farm, get their items, and you're playing someone like Caitlyn and you want to push your lane in, you want to get the tower, you want to roam mid, getting minion dematerializer is pretty valuable. You get to push down the tower faster, you get to deny Kog'Maw a lot, opens the ability to dive Kog'Maw. So I feel that would be a correct choice to take then. As for other trees, I think domination is pretty good for Lucian. Sudden impact, for instance, as I mentioned before, after using a dash, leap, blink, or teleport, you gain additional damage. Lucian, he power spikes early, level 1 to 3, so as soon as he E's in, he gains additional damage. Does extremely well. The Ghost Borrow is pretty helpful as well for AD carries. So is Revenant's Hunter, for instance, so something like this for Lucian would be pretty good as well. Hope you guys enjoyed and got a better understanding of runes from this video. Please subscribe for future videos that we will release.